Hello and welcome to Becoming a Grant Writer, 5 major shifts that you need to make in order to get funded. My name is Rodney Walker and I'm excited to have you on today, and I'm excited about the opportunity that lies before you to learn what it means to become a grant writer. I want to honor your time for being here, and by doing so, that means we're going to get started right away, okay? I got a lot of information to share with you, and I hope that you have gathered that pen and paper that I asked you to bring in so that we can take some notes. I want you to take a lot of good notes because I got a lot of wonderful information that's going to help you to learn more about what it means to be a grant writer. In fact, I'm going to be sharing with you those 5 who, when, where, why, and how about grant writing. And I want you to write it down. I'm going to be sharing with you some of my experience, and then I'm also going to be sharing with you what I've learned over my years of doing this and what it takes to kind of break into this industry fast. I'm going to also share with you what grant writers typically make in terms of salary, and I'm going to look at how much a grant writer makes if they are doing it as an employee, and talk to you about the opportunity that exists for you to do this independently and what that looks like as well. And we have a lot of information. So with that, let's dive on in and let's kind of get started with this whole thing. Let me tell you what my goal is. My goal is really, if you really desire to become a grant writer, my goal is for you not just to be an average grant writer, but my goal is for you to be a rock star grant writer. In fact, I'm gonna show you my artistic skills around here. Well, all right. I want you to be a star. All right. I want you to be a rock star. In fact, I need to do a bigger. And there's a way to become a grant writing rock star. I don't want to share that with you because here's the thing. When you help an organization that is in need of money to get dollars, trust me, in their eyes, you become a rock star. Because you really become what I call a grant hero. Because you're bringing resources to an organization that needs it and deserves it. So let me share with you how I got into this whole thing and show you my journey because it may be informative for you. When I first started out, I was working for a nonprofit back in Austin, Texas. And I was the director. And I was in charge of the youth development department. And we had a contracted grant writer. This person would come around to the various directors. We had about 3 different directors. And she had a little notepad. She would write down some notes. And she would ask us questions about the various programs that we were doing. And she would take notes. And then she would compile that information and put it into what was called a grant proposal. And then she would submit that proposal to a prospective funder, a potential funder. And then she would turn around in a couple of months and come back to us and let us know that we had gotten funded. And I was like, wow. You take my words, her words, his words, you write down something on paper, and then somebody turns around and they give you paper, green paper, moolah money. I was excited. I was like, will you show me how to do this? And she was like, Rodney, you don't get away from me trying to take my grant writing gig. And that's not what I was thinking. I guess I was too young at the time and too naive to realize that she would have been thinking about job security and not sharing that information with me. But I was thinking more of how could I do some grant writing to bring more money in to the programs that I was serving and some of the outreach things that I was doing for young people. Well, needless to say, she never taught me. So what happened was I decided to just dive into the process myself, try to figure this thing out. And I dove into the process, and here's what happened. Long story short, I fell flat on my face. The very first proposal I submitted was to a foundation called the Hog Foundation for $25,000. And I got a letter of rejection that came in the mail about a month later, letting me know, Rodney, we're not funding your grant proposal. And the lady who wrote me back was a senior program officer. And she wrote at the very bottom of it, P.S. If you'd like to come in to discuss the problem areas with your proposal, I'd be happy to discuss those with you. I took her up on that offer, and that was a really smart thing to do. And she showed me the problem areas I had with my proposal, and let's just put it this way. There were a lot. The good thing is, hopefully you won't have to make some of those because I'm going to share some insight with you. In addition to that, I never ever got funding from them. But that visit that I had with her was very, very transformative for me. I eventually moved from Texas to the Los Angeles area where I live now, in the Pasadena area. And I still knew zero about grant writing. But I figured if I could learn this skill, that I could become a valuable asset. So this time I said, you know what, I'm going to go learn. And I decided to do some studies when I was in my graduate program to learn this skill. And so I started my grad school, did an MBA that had a focus in nonprofit management. And I focused in on grant writing, and I became a sponge to get as much information as I possibly could in the area of grants. And so I just absorbed as much information, kept learning, reading, taking classes. Eventually, I started getting really good at doing this thing. And my professor noticed it, and he said, hey, you have a knack for this thing. Have you ever thought about doing this as a career? Nope, I hadn't. Farther seen from my mind, all I was thinking about is how could I write a grant to get funded for what I was doing. But in my mind, I said, you know, if I could learn this skill, maybe not only could I do it for my programs, but maybe I could write grants for other people that were interested and help them to get funded as well. And long story short, that is eventually what happened. I decided to start training people, and I started sharing information with them. Before you know it, they started getting funded too. And I never will forget one guy, my buddy Canody, he had gotten funded $15,000. He came to me and said, hey, Rodney, I don't know what I'm doing in terms of trying to get some funding. I need to raise $15,000 for my youth group. What should I do? And I said, have you thought about grant writing? He hadn't. He came to one of my trainings, worked with them, and 6 months later, he has the $15,000 that he needs. I could tell you countless stories, but for the sake of time, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to point you. Later on, not right now, but later on, go over to grantwritingclasses.org. I'll in fact write it for you right here. And you'll see Canody, and then you'll also see countless others that have raised millions of dollars, some hundreds of thousands of dollars, others millions of dollars. And they all started right where you're starting right now, at ground zero. You see, to be able to do grant writing, you have to start somewhere. And you're not born with a grant writing gene, neither was I. That's why I fell flat on my face. But there's some ways to do it, and there's some shortcuts to breaking into this industry fast. That's what I'm going to share with you, okay? So let's real quickly talk about a couple of things, because I went from ground zero to eventually becoming the organizer of Grant Central USA. We do trainings literally nationwide. Some of our clients have included the likes of Magic Johnson Foundation, George W. Bush Foundation, Tavis Smiley Foundation. We've even trained the Habitat for Humanity, YMCA, Boys and Girls Club, YWCA, countless ones. And if you go to that site, you'll see some of those that we've been able to help, and literally have helped them to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars and even hundreds of millions of dollars over the course of our time. And you can learn the skill, because I started from ground zero and didn't know at all what I was doing. I was completely clueless. But as I continued, I learned how to do it. And that's what I want to show you, the quickest way to get from point A to point B. Because if you can learn this skill, and I know you can, when you learn it, what happens is this. You open up a lot of doors of opportunities for yourself. And that's some of the why that I love this field, because it allows you not to have to go and get this college degree in order to do grant writing. In fact, if you've ever written a 5-page letter or a 5-page paper for school, or an 8-page paper or a 10-page paper for school, if you've done that, then you have what it takes to be able to write grants. Okay? And I'm going to show you, all you need is to learn the method and learn the recipe in order to do it effectively. Okay? So with that said, you can become an effective grant writer. Now, I went from ground zero to being able to help others learn this, and now I work with people literally all over. And with it, in fact, I want to invite you to come and join me over on LinkedIn. I have a group over on LinkedIn that has over 14 some odd thousand members in it called the Grant Writers Association. In fact, when you go to LinkedIn, look for me, Rodney Walker, and reach out to me. Let's connect, because I would love to stay connected with you. Also, go over to Facebook and have a group over there called the Get Funded Now group. Come join. Let's have some conversation and interact there. So you'll get a chance to see some of that. But with that said, when we learn grant writing, what's the who, what, when, and where of grant writing? Okay? Now, when we talk about those things, who, when, where, why, and let's throw a how. Okay? So when we talk about this, who is a grant writer, or what is a grant writer? First, we got to understand what a grant is. Okay, so when we talk about a grant is funding that a funder or a donor makes to go towards a cause that they support. Okay, so they can allocate money for a cause that they support. And there are two major types of funders. One of those funders is the government. They give funding. Your tax dollars, my tax dollars, help to go and support grants. Okay. There's another type of funder that's also called private funders. And these are the funders that give monies to support a cause. These are 501c3 foundation, nonprofit foundations, and they give monies to support an effort. In doing so, the government gives them a tax break. So they have an incentive to give out grant money. Well, this money that they give out to deserving organizations. Most of the time, grants are given to nonprofit 501c3 organizations. Now, time won't permit me to go into great detail about that, but just know that they give to nonprofit organizations that have been officially recognized as being nonprofits from the government. With that said, one of the ways that people acquire grants is somebody like you and I will take the time to make sure that our organizations qualify, and we will write a grant proposal and submit that proposal to that prospective funder. What's really important is to know how to do that the right way, because just like with most things in life, there's a right way and there's a wrong way. So a grant writer is somebody who has learned the mechanics, has learned the recipe, that knows how to apply the most effective way so that they can in turn bring in funds for their organization or for the cause that they're seeking funding for or for their project that they're seeking funding for. Now, not all funders will fund every project. Most of them have specific things that they like to fund. So the grant writer is literally after the they're after the funds. And when you learn how to do this the right way, it really becomes fun. It becomes fun when you start writing down some words on paper and somebody gives you paper. That's when it becomes really fun. So the who, this is somebody that's a grant writer, whoever goes after those funds. And it's really fundraising, okay? It can literally be called fun. It's fundraising. And by fundraising, some people like to think of fundraising really as think of it as fundraising, okay? Because it's getting funds because people tend to give to people that they know, like, and trust. So a part of the role of a grant writer of what, we left the what out, right? Of what a grant writer does is they help to really fundraise, and they write grants, and these grants can be anywhere from 5 to 10 pages long. They can also be a lot longer depending on the funder. They can be shorter too. Sometimes they can be a couple of pages, but most of the time they average around 5 to 8 pages for a private funder. And then with those government grants, sometimes those can be a lot larger, 20 and 30, even 100 pages long, okay? So with it, the grant writer is one who's apt at going after those funds. They know where to find those grants. They know how to make sure the grants are a good fit for them and the organization. They know how to write an effective proposal that conveys a message to the funder that says, hey, consider funding us, and this is why. Okay? So in essence, that's all that a grant writer really is. The essence of it is they are a friend raiser that writes letters and writes these proposals, and it's just like it says, it is a proposal. Okay? It's like somebody getting on their knees saying, hey, will you marry me? It is a proposal to the funder to see if the funder would be interested in possibly funding your project. Does that make sense? That's the long and short of it, okay? And if you like the following, here's some things that you need to consider. Do you like to research? Do you like to write? Now, I know many of you in school, you had to write papers. You didn't like writing paper, but trust me, believe me on this. When somebody's giving you money at the end of that writing, you get all kind of motivation. We're not talking about writing for a grade. We're talking about writing for a grant. Okay? Writing where they're giving you money. So if you like research, writing, if you like making friends with, if you like friends with ends, moolah, then grant writing could possibly be for you. Now, here's the thing. If you don't like research, if you don't like writing, if you don't like making friends and connecting with people, I'll be honest with you, grant writing might not be for you. There are a lot of other things you can do that you can raise funds in, and grant writing may not be the option. But if you like these things right here, then you might want to keep on listening, because grant writing could possibly be a wonderful option for you. Now, let me share with you real quickly, personally, why I like grant writing and why I've heard a lot of other grant writers tell me that they like about the occupation. First, grant writing is something that you can actually do without having to go to college for several years to learn how to do it. You don't have to spend $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 to learn a skill that's highly marketable like grant writing. So who can do this? You can do this if you enjoy these things and if you learn the method behind the madness to do it. And the where, you can do grant writing anywhere. That's what I love about it. So you don't have to be bound to one location. So if you do it independently as a contractor, you can literally work with different clients and do it from the comfort of your home. Now, I don't know if you know this, but by the year, I think 2025, really soon, there are going to be more people working as freelancers than those that are actually working on a set job at one location. Right now, it's stacked where there are more people working at one location versus freelancing. In a few more years, it's going to be shifting like this. It's going to be taken over. So grant writing provides a wonderful opportunity for you to get a marketable skill that allows you to work with different clients. Okay, so let me tell you some more of the why. I love it because it allows you to have a marketable skill. It's also something that you can do any place that you want to do it. And if you're doing it independently, you can do it from the comfort of your home. You can be literally in your robe at home, writing on grants, doing research online, and preparing proposals. You can also work with nonprofits, and they love grant writers. Why? Because at the end of the day, grant writers connect them with money. Do you know of any organization that exists, for-profit or non-profit, that does not want to make money? Okay? Every organization needs money, and especially nonprofits, and the grant writer provides a bridge to get to the money. So when you get this special knowledge, my friend, you become very, very valuable in the eyes of those nonprofits. When you become a rock star with this, it allows you to command more money. Because the more successful you get at this, the more you learn the method behind the madness of how to secure the funds, then more nonprofits want you and that skill that you have so they can get more money. Does that make sense? Okay. Hopefully it does. So let's continue on. So these are the things they do. Another reason why I love it and why you might love it is that it allows you to bring much needed resources to organizations that need it. So you get a chance to do good, help a lot of people by writing information down. Okay? And allows you to make a meaningful contribution to the world and impact people sometimes that you will never ever see, but because of what you wrote down with your pen, because of what you typed on your typewriter, they are now the better for it. That's another reason why I love it. Okay? Now, let's take a look at a couple of other things. I told you that I was going to share with you how much a grant writer actually makes. Now, if you're by your computer, I want you to go over to salary.com. Not celery, salary.com. Okay? Got me hungry over thinking about some celery. Okay, so go over to salary. And when you go there, type in grant proposal writer or grant writer, and they should share with you how much a typical grant writer makes. And they pulled these statistics from these different job opportunities. And the last time I checked, that amount was roughly about $69,000 a year. It may have gone up some, it may go down a little bit, but somewhere around 69K was what I saw on their site the last time. Which means that if you can learn this skill, my friend, you can go and find a job that will be in that range. If it's a little lower or maybe a lot higher. I've seen other postings where I know grant writers that are on jobs that are making six-figure income. I also know grant writers that are doing this independently that are doing very, very well and making six-figure income in this arena as well. So you can either go and get a job, break into the industry, or you can learn the skill and start writing grants for multiple organizations. Okay? Try this on for size real quickly. What happens when you learn a skill and then decide that you are going to go after 5 clients? Okay? 5 clients that will be willing to contract with you over the course of the year to help bring funds to them. Okay? Now, 5 clients giving you $10,000, that's $50,000. If you got those same 5 clients or different 5 clients to give you, let's say $20,000, less than an annual pay for someone, but something that could possibly be affordable for them if they were doing it on a month-to-month basis in terms of pay, you're talking about a six-figure income just like that. Okay? So that's what's possible in this arena. And I want you to at least be aware of it and know that it's very, very doable. I've done it. I have friends that have done it. And I know the recipe behind doing that. Now, let's move on. Okay, I want to share with you real quickly now, how can you break into this industry? Okay, now you're taking notes. Okay, write this down. I want to share with you how to break into this industry because there's an old way to break into the industry and write a grant that's successful, and there's a new way. And I want to share with you real quickly the old way and the new way. Now, the old way in terms of kind of breaking into this industry is going kind of like a long route where you are maybe on a job and you basically get promoted. Because most grant writers, people don't start out going to college and say, oh, I want to become a grant writer. Just like I did, I kind of stumbled upon it. And nearly 80 to 90% of the people that I know that are doing grant writing, they stumbled onto it. Some of them were working at a job and then their employer say, hey, I need you to write grants. And then they kind of stumble into it that way. That's an old way to work your way into grant writing. But because you have to be dependent upon your employer to give you the opportunity. Okay? And another old way is having somebody already at that job that's going to kind of show you the ropes, that already knows grant writing, and you can convince them to do it. My challenge was when I had somebody that was doing that for our organization, they didn't want to tell me. And sometimes people are quite protective with their information because grant money is money, and they don't want to share that information sometimes. So that's a kind of old way of about kind of going about learning the skill. Another way that you can learn this skill is actually getting an internship. And that's a viable way. It's a longer way to kind of get it because sometimes you may go and get an internship and you might possibly be with somebody who really doesn't know what they're doing is effective, or maybe not able to spend as much time with you as you need. Okay, so those are some of the old ways about going in and doing it. Now, let me share with you real quickly a couple of the newer ways to go about getting the skill. A newer way to go about getting the skill is actually having a mentor that guides you along the process, that literally leads you step by step through what to do and what not to do to avoid those costly mistakes. And there are a number of ways you can do that. You can go and get a class, but you can also be handheld in the process. And that's a more effective way that allows you to ask questions along the way while you're doing it. Because sometimes you can go to a class and get loads and loads of information. And what I found with people that do that, they oftentimes get stuck. Just like a deer, when the lights come out on, they get overwhelmed. And they freeze. And my friend, if you're going to be a rock star, you're going to need to be held by the hand and guided. Okay? So I want to encourage you to look at the new way, to make a shift from the old way, and make a look at the new way where you will be walked through the process all along the way. Because literally, think about this. You can learn this skill, and I've taught people who raise hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they've learned it in as little as 4 hours. Now, 4 hours of me dispersing the information to them and then going back and putting it to action. So the 4 hours I'm talking about here is actually learning some of the key things to do. That's like really the bare bone minimum. But typically I've had a lot of success with helping people to learn it within 48 hours. And they learn it, they got to go back, put legs and some action behind it, and they can get it. Now, I've taken classes over the length of time, 8-week classes and semester classes. So that's another way of going about doing it. That's kind of a longer way, but you can learn the skill a lot quicker. Now, so breaking into this industry, when we talk about breaking into this industry, we want to break into it. And when you break into it, here's what I suggest you do. And my time is kind of winding down. So I want to really share with you the fast way to break into this industry. Okay. So when I say fast way, first thing I want to recommend you do, if you want to really break into this industry fast and learn how to write grants and actually get funded without wasting a lot of time, my friend, I'm going to suggest that you do this. Find a mentor. Okay. This will save you lots of time, lots of heartache, lots of pain. Okay. That can show you how to do grant writing. They must have a successful track record themselves. The second thing, I'm going to recommend to you that instead of just finding a mentor and stopping there, I'm going to suggest that you act right now. I know so many people, and you'd be surprised. I've talked to literally hundreds of people that want to learn the skill, but they've been wanting to learn it for years, but they get stuck. And they don't do it. So I want to encourage you not to be one of those people. Act right now and start learning. Start learning today. Get a book if you have to. I got a free report. Get the free report. Read the free report, but start taking action today. The next thing I want to encourage you to do. Time here. Save. I want you to save. Save time. Save disappointment. Save all the pain that comes with doing this the wrong way. And you do that again, my friend, by getting a mentor that will guide you step by step through the process. Okay? So this is how you get on the fast road. And these are the shifts you need to make to get to this road sooner than later. And here's what I mean by shift. Shift number one. You've got to abandon the old way of doing this. Okay? Don't go that long route. Shift number two. When you abandon the old way, secondly, you got to realize, hey, probably most of what you think about grant writing is most likely wrong. And let somebody guide you by the hand. Okay? You don't know this. I didn't know when I first wrote it, and I tried to write my first grant, and bam, okay? You don't know it. Get somebody to guide you, save some time, disappointment, allow them to guide you along the way. This gets you there quicker. The third thing that I would say, in addition to abandoning the old way, I want to encourage you to find a recipe. Find a recipe that you can use. Because if you use a recipe, it works like magic. And not all recipes are the same. You know that, okay? So get a good recipe and then move forward from there. And then in addition to abandoning the old way, I want to encourage you, as I shared with you just a second ago, use time wisely. Leverage your time by learning from others that are already successful in this area. If you do those shifts right there, my friend, you will find that you will really be on the road to writing grants quickly and effectively. And those are the shifts that you got to make. Now, our time is up for now, and I've given you these things, but I've got something for you if you want to stick around for just a second. I want to let you know, we talked about a lot of stuff here about who, when, where, and what about grants. We talked about funding, fundraising, funds being a fundraiser is really a fundraiser. We also looked at the average salary, getting grants. We talked about these things, research, writing, and friends. And we talked about what you can do right now to learn to get into this industry quickly without wasting a lot of time. Okay. So we talked about investing in a mentor, investing in acting now and not wasting time. Now, I've given you those things that I promised you that I was going to give you to help you become a grant writer and show you how to do that. So for now, my friend, you can go if you like to go. I've given you what I promised you. But if you are here and you're like, hey, Rodney, I like what you said, and I think I need a mentor myself to move forward. There are 3 ways that I like to help people. Some of those that are just starting out. First, I love helping people to learn this as a skill, okay? And because it's so valuable. Second, you may be trying to earn an extra $500 to $1,000. If you're trying to do something like that, I love also helping you to learn the skill and showing you how to make money using this skill. And I've done that a number of times, and this skill has made me hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay? I want to show you how to learn the skill to do the same thing. The third thing that I do with a lot of people, some people say, hey, Rodney, I don't want to just earn a little on the side. I want to do this as a business. I got an idea about doing this as a business. I love coming alongside of you, showing you the ropes of what that's like. Now, I want to give you an opportunity. If you are like at a place where you say, Rodney, I really want to learn the skill, and you're ready to take action and really move to the next level, I want to invite you to sign up right after this for a free breakthrough strategy call. What's going to happen in this call? This call is where I'm going to help you to get total clarity about exactly what you need to do to break into this industry and to move forward based upon where you are at right now in your life. And there are a number of different ways that you can go about doing that, some of which I've shared today, but I've also got resources that may be helpful for you. And once I know exactly where you're at and what you're looking to do, my team and I are going to guide you and point you in the right direction. We're going to say, okay, great. Hey, based upon where you're at, these are some things and some resources that may be helpful for you. And if we can help you, we're going to help you. If we can't, we'll say, okay, great. Hey, there's some other places you can go to get the help that you need. But I want to help to shorten your learning curve, to keep you from wandering around. Here's my thing, and I got to go after this. I wandered around for over 2 years because I didn't have that hand-holding that I just told you about. You don't have to do that. I want you to be smarter than I was at that time and get some assistance. We can have a free conference call to talk to you about this. My coaches and I are going to be there to help you. So now let me tell you this before we wrap it up. Who is this call not for? This call is not for you if you just want to talk and say, hey, Rodney, how you doing? No, I don't want to talk to you like that, okay? If you want to talk and just ask me questions about grants, oh, I wonder, how can I get funded? No, this call ain't for you. This call is for you if you're serious about moving forward with learning the skill and learning what it takes to break through it quickly. I want to work with you. I want to help you. I want to give you some strategies that allow you to move forward quickly. This call is going to be absolutely free. So as soon as I'm done here, give you an opportunity to sign up. Now, I want to encourage you to sign up quickly. Two things need to happen. One, I need you to make sure that you sign up, find a time that works for you. Now, these spots are very precious and they go kind of quickly. So as soon as it's over with, you need to sign up right away. Secondly, you need to, right after you find a time that works for you, I need you to fill out a short questionnaire that has a few questions that you can check off really quick and write. Let us know where you're starting at so that we can prepare for the meeting. Okay? You got to do both of those. If you do one of those and don't do the other one, the meeting won't happen. My assistants, they'll cancel the meeting and say, hey, you didn't fill out your application. But if you do both of those, we're going to set a time aside for you and meet. And we're going to have about 30 to 45 minutes or so where we're going to talk to you and point you in the right direction. Hey, thanks for listening today. It's been an honor getting a chance to serve you with this information. I look forward to connecting with you soon. And we'll look forward to you getting funded and then also breaking into this industry. All right, take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.